That's your spice. That's what you add to this broadcast, okay? I'm the PC guy that I throw the fishing line to you, and you're like, yeah, it's crap or something like that.
Silas gets TV series canceled. Okay, that is exactly what
he ruined
does.
Firefly. Silas ruined Firefly, everyone. All right,
well,
here we are into the draft as once again, Kalista is going to be the first ban on the blue side for DAMWON Gaming. SKT, we'll see what they follow up with.
Now,
damn you, Silas.
Let's see if they want to ban away the Lucian.
I have a
Probably
feeling
don't have to ban away the Ezreal, as DAMWON will likely be the ones that do that. And I can tell you what DAMWON won't be banning this game.
What won't they be banning?
Silas.
Yeah, I have a feeling that that's definitely the truth. Is Ezreal going to be the second ban once again? Exactly the same as our first round of bans, guys. It was Kalista, Ezreal, and Thresh banned on DAMWON side. I feel like the Thresh is a flexible ban. Even though Marta is fantastic on the champion, I think that you can flex that into something else if you would like to take that one away. The Alistar was what Marta really carried on in the first game of this series, and Vladimir is going to hit the bench, unsurprisingly, and is also going to mean that mirrored bans are going to happen from the first game.
There is a LeBlanc being banned away now. This could signify that we might get a Zoe Yasuo matchup unless SK Telecom want to ban away the Zoe here.
Yeah, well, Yasuo was their final ban last time. Now they're wondering whether or not they're going to switch away from it. Certainly Yasuo could be going into the hands of both Showmaker and Nuclear. I do want to point out that Canyon, I thought that maybe I'd been missing something he's been spamming in solo queue. He's got a 30% win rate on Jungle Riven at the moment in solo queue. Hasn't necessarily been spamming it. So brings it out and picks up the first win here as Flame says, I'm picking my champion and I'm picking it fast. The insta-lock.
Yeah, the Urgot, as he is locked in there for DAMWON. Now this could mean that we might get another Jace coming out here in top lane.
I'd like Jace Alistar to be locked in here. Certainly could be an easy one, but they could go the same as last time around, which was the Alistar and the Lee Sin for Clid. But holding onto the jungle pick, I think, is going to be a bit smarter here against Canyon, who seems to be throwing absolutely everything into the jungle. So instead, the Scion going to be picked up, most likely for Khan. Top side of the map. We don't see this anymore in Korea, but we have seen it elsewhere, and I very recently watched a Scion completely smash an Urgot on the top side, even though Scion's the one that's been smashed with the Nerf bat over and over again.
And on the flip side, DAMWON now are locking in the Kai'Sa and the Tahm Kench. So we don't know totally, though, if that Scion will be mid or top. If it is top, Urgot does have control in the matchup, but there are ways for Scion to win it and smash back at Urgot, especially if he ends up ever getting a early advantage. So maybe we're going to find out about that in a second here, as Sivir is locked in to counteract the Kai'Sa.
Yep, Sivir was of course banned in the second round, and it was the late Urgot pickup from SKT last time, but no jungle has been seen. I actually really like this from SKT. The fact that they held on to that Lee Sin that they've been just shotgunning every single time. They can now pick for whatever DAMWON is going to throw at them, because it's Canyon that's doing the weird stuff. From the jungle, Jarvan going to be taken away here, and it is demonstrating that they want to pick up their next solo lane in the next round instead of grabbing that jungle. Because otherwise they could have just grabbed the J4 for themselves.
Probably just try to target the jungle pool now if you are DAMWON, especially if Canyon has the ability to... What?
Look,
I'm gonna need you to break this down.
They don't have that hard count of Vladimir for the Sylas, so they didn't want to leave themselves open.
Okay.
To be Sylas counterpicked.
All right.
LS. It's what they didn't want. No, they're planning on picking the sickest ultimate ever.
Okay. Karthus?
Yeah, I don't know. How does Sylas utilize a Karthus ultimate effectively? I'm not entirely sure. You can hold onto it for a long time, so I guess you just run around and then use it whenever you want to. Lee Sin going to be banned away from Clid, though. Pretty understandable stuff here. As some coverage bans coming in for SKTs. You're exactly right. That Rise ban looks like Lissandra to me.
And this looks to be the makings of an SK Telecom stall, slow and Teddy comp.
Whoa, speaking of slow, Little Miss Piggy to hit the Rift, as 3 seconds, they don't need that time. They're going Sejuani. And you know what, actually...
The boar is a boy. His name's Kevin.
No, he's not. His name's Bristle.
No, it's Kevin.
No, it's Bristle.
Kevin. Look this up.
I know the law. I know it's Bristol.
No,
it is definitely
Kevin
Bristol.
Tuggles.
Oh my god, that is an adorable name, but unfortunately it's just not true. We can't be misleading our audience as DAMWON have stolen away the classic SKT.
Whoa!
Is it happening?
Oh!
Is it LS?
No!
Oh my,
No!
the switch to the Kayn. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy that we've got Kayn instead. Kayn looking to come in and just ruin Klid's day on the Sejuani. But we were about to have your Game 1 draft for BBQ versus your Game 2 draft. And what happened in Game 1? You lost because you picked Sejuani Orianna. But then in Game number 2, you won because you picked Karthus and Pantheon to lead bottom lane.
We won Game 1.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Oh, damn it.
And then they picked Kayn into Karthus, Lissandra.
I saw that.
Found out that was a bad
I honestly,
decision.
to be perfectly honest, obviously I didn't watch the game, right? Because I saw that draft and I'm like, oh, this is going to be too boring. I just don't want to watch it. And also, I think I was casting the LCK that day. I don't know. Right. One of those things. One of those things is the final pickup. The Alistar going to be moved down towards Mata, and Faker goes back to the Galio. My God, which patch are we on? SKT. It's an interesting one as the Sivir, I guess, gets the further priority. Zephyr on your screen right there, he never looks confident. So
yeah.
he doesn't give anything away with the way that he looks. But DAMWON, they've got a lot of tools throughout this game. The reason why Urgot Lissandra are so good is because they do what they do the minute they hit the rift.
Yeah. They're going to neutralize the lane. You can almost never get priority against the Lissandra. Faker's iconic Galio coming out here. Now, SK Telecom, they've chosen to go very slow and Teddy for this game, with 4 tanks in a Sivir going to be the weapon of choice for them. But they are going up against Kai'Sa, Tahm Kench, Lissandra, Kayn in Urgot, and I really gotta hand it to DAMWON Gaming. I think they have a pretty big victory in the draft. Frost is gonna be able to run a field day over the SK Telecom team composition. And in theory, Canyon should be able to get it very quickly. On the flip side,
just the thing that I'm worried about as we have a look at this, the roster of SKT, Sion, Sejuani, Galio, Sivir, and the Alistar. The problem for me is that Sejuani just won't do anything in the early game and is just such an obvious hole in what the draft does. And often when you've got something like this, you have pushing lanes elsewhere. But they've got nerfed Galio and nerfed Sion that should, in theory, not have the priority. We'll see whether they can prove us wrong. And our eyes are going to be glued to the bottom side of the map because Mata will need to escape lane and try and help out his solos as soon as he possibly can. As Canyon is going to slash his way over this wall, finds Khan, and I believe that was a, is that a visual bug? Because Khan's playing like there's no Kayn there. Yes, thank goodness.
He's actually going to get some passive stacks right off the bat.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
and he wants them. Again. Any melee champion, that's what you want to be smacking. Gets another Q in there. And Khan has to go back home, and all of this control around the jungle goes over to DAMWON. Good start already, and you can see Canyon going for Dread's favorite skin on the Kayn as well as he starts up his. And I've got his stats here. He's played a few games of Kayn so far in solo queue, but 55% win rate over 11 games is nothing to really scoff at. Well. 6-5 for those mathematicians at home.
Kayn here going to be able to start on his Raptor camp right away. And so some people might be wondering, well, why Kayn? Well, it's not just about the fact that there's lots of tanks on the enemy team. It's also that Kayn is one of the champions that can really bring it to Sejuani.
Yeah.
And the way that you do that is Kayn is so much faster at clearing the jungle than Sejuani. He can just circumvent having to really jungle against her and run around her, constantly counter jungle her camps. And with the 2 priority lanes in mid and top, it should in theory be really easy for him to do that. And I'm not sure what his secondary runes are. Normally you can opt into mobility boots first item, but I don't see a stopwatch, so I don't know if he has magical boots from inspiration.
Yeah, could certainly be one of the options there that he could have picked up, unless he goes for more CDR or something like that. Klid on his top side, not going to be bothered by the Kayn so far, but I'm really glad that you bring up that. It's more, I can farm and take your camps rather than I can kill you in your jungle necessarily, because Kayn is so good at it. Faker understands that that's exactly what he's capable of, and they will know exactly where the Kayn is. will give Clid the opportunity to possibly do a counter steal here, but this is taking a while. And with Blast Cone, Arctic Assault will be able to get Clid into position. Mata moves on over, and it is going to be Clid securing his blue buffs. Thanks for the leash, Kane. And Canyon already on the back foot now. It's actually a big deal as Canyon moves onto the mid lane. Faker could be in trouble, but not at this point. Even had the Aftershock to help him with a bunch of those resists.
And so right now, Canyon hitting tab, realizes, hey, Sejuani does not actually have her Raptor camp, so I'm going to come over here really quick and steal that. He's actually not just going to leave one, and I think this is showing intention that he intends to come back and maybe steal them again.
Also really hard for Kane to leave anything because he wants to be spinning around with his slash, and that's why he's so good at Raptor camps. He probably wants to keep both sides of the map, the Raptors available for him, because he kills them so fast.
Kane's going to continue power farming. The one thing that he is missing, though, is that he hasn't taken his Golem camp. The Krug's down there as Clid is actually making his way potentially down to take them. Yep,
start rubber banding that camp for him. No worries there at all. But no, that's not his choice, as Nuclear and Beryl are in his eye line. Early ganks from Sejuani aren't exactly awful, but he notices that he probably won't be able to get too much done. Cleanse and heal both available. Nuclear not going for the teleport like Teddy. Teddy understanding that he will have a lot of priority here as Canyon's doing a couple of camps at once, as you can on this Kane. He's farming very quickly around this jungle, but Clid is doing a decent job keeping up.
So right now, the Krugs at the top half of the map will be respawning shortly. I'm curious to see if Canyon is actually going to try to run up and maybe capture them, or if he's just going to path right back into his rubber-banded Raptor camps.
I think he goes to the Raptor camp and then tries something mid potentially. We'll see what he actually decides to do here. Is there are 3 dank seals for Faker. This guy doesn't want to lose any health, just so you know. Look at that. That camp was there for like 2 seconds, and he hasn't even gone back to base yet. He's got 1 jungle item. That's just ridiculous. He farms real fast.
And you can see the pings going down on the map. Everyone is fully aware of where Canyon is right now, and this is not a gankable lane state unless Teddy and Mata make a very big mistake, and so Clid not falling as far behind on the Sejuani as one might expect him to, and a lot of this is the byproduct of a few things. One, missing out on the blue buff so that Clid had a little bit more sustain inside of the jungle. Had Clid missed that due to the lane priority in mid and the ability to get priority in bottom, Clid could have been messed with and gotten 2 leveled really early on, and it's so interesting that something so small can end up being so big.
Well, speaking of big things, there's a Scion on the top side of the map who's had a decent time here in this laning phase so far. Actually shoved Flame in and gets himself a priority back. Ninja Tabi in his back pocket now as well. Grasp of the Undying is what he's gone with there, just to keep himself alive in this lane. Showmaker roams away just for a moment, but Faker protecting the chickens. Doesn't want the coop to come under fire as Clid moves on over. Canyon is going to have to slink his way back into his side of the jungle because Khan, he has ultimate and he can move down from that top side of the map. So you have to remember that with Scion here, the river is never safe.
And right now, Canyon does roll very well. The Scuttle Crab does appear on the left side of the map. One thing to note, though, is that he's not getting any Ross stacks. He's not attempting to gank any of these lanes. And so he's just playing this farming style jungle, and it's interesting to me that he goes for the Chilling Smite instead of the Red Smite. When he is going to be going Ross, he's going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of the team fights, right into the heart of them. Yeah,
and a lot more CC available as well, so you don't necessarily need that slow as much, but wanting to double down on utility, and I don't mind that. Flame's Ghost Poro is going to be eradicated there on the top side. Teddy and Mata letting the wave shove towards them. Wanting to go for some sort of freeze down here, and that shows that SKT looking to try and play top side of the map. Clid goes back to base. Marby Cinder in his back pocket as well as his own Chilling Smite. He's still a camp and a CS behind, but as far as Sejuani early games go, this is a pretty nice one, all things considered. Largely going towards that good smite timing after the Blast Cone Arctic Assault towards his own blue buff. Still was triple scuttle so far for Canyon, so he will have a bit more money. Those numbers not necessarily telling the whole story. As Khan versus Flame, this is a lane that I think is much more important than Urgot Scion lanes have been in the past. Because if Khan can play this as aggressively as we know he can, and we know Urgot can in the matchup, it means so much more for DAMWON and for SKT than it would otherwise.
Right.
Because having priority in that top lane means that the Scion can move down into the river, can use his the choo-choo train, and it means that when Canyon is going for the ganks in mid, things like that, you can get collapsed on so incredibly easily. So Khan doing a great job. He was getting shoved in earlier on, and you can see that Flame is positioning aggressively in the lane, but it's not enough to actually give him full-on priority. As you see right here, Flame going forward, but Khan able to weather the storm, as it were.
And the byproduct of this is that DAMWON Gaming are supposed to be being able to get slight advantages across the map, and thus far they really haven't. Kane is ahead. Oh, okay.
There's the train, but it's not really going to find too much there, but the disdain also going to miss. The flash out of the way there as the Purge is going to keep Flame alive, and Khan, he uses both of his summoner spells, loses out on the health trade, and even Clid turns up and can't do anything.
Clid, you can see, still level 5 as Canyon with level 6.
Yeah, going to go on in. You can see Flame was trying to do a bit of baiting here, but it's just a chilling smite to be thrown down onto Bristle and Sejuani. Sorry, Kevin.
See what you did there.
Why Kevin?
I'm pretty sure that it's actually Kevin Tuggles. I'm not pulling your leg here.
Are you actually being serious?
Yeah.
No, it's definitely Bristle.
Unless
Unless they changed a law, in which case I'm going to have a conversation with someone. Because if they've removed Bristle, I'm going to be as upset as when the Crimson Brambleback lost its Crimson.
I think Bristle is the alias. Kevin
Oh,
Bristle
it's like Batman or something,
there
you know?
You go.
It's like it's like Batman Bristle is instead Kevin Toggles by day, you know? And Bristle by night. What's the day job of Kevin Toggles? Is he like a factory worker or something like that?
Oh man.
What's the best job for like a giant poro? Not entirely sure. Works at one of our dog cafes here in Korea.
Yeah, he just gets pet by everyone.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds pretty good. I could imagine that Kevin Toggles would like that.
Sejuani works the barista job
Yeah.
behind the counter. And then at night they take to the rift.
Yep, yeah. Oh, beautiful. I love this. I love it.
man.
I think there needs to be a YouTube video about Kevin Toggles. Oh,
So
man.
far though, in this game.
We need a superhero Sejuani skin. Oh, we really
They
need
need one now.
We need one. Man, we've been advocating for Marvel-based skins way too much on this broadcast, LS.
We really
but I'm
have.
okay with it. I'm completely okay with it.
Are you going to see, I know I asked you this before, but Captain Marvel is coming out in 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
A little under 2 weeks here in Korea. We get an earlier release
Oh,
than
hell yeah.
other countries, I think.
I'm definitely going to go see it. I mean, I'm a sucker for this. Absolute sucker. As this is going to be SKT taking themselves an Ocean Drake. This time around, pretty happy about having an Ocean Drake. I mean, everyone in a lane is really keen to spam their spells. Especially Faker after the nerfs. Wants to be able to throw out his Winds of War, even though it doesn't hurt as much, as many times as he can. Very close to getting his first item here as well. Lost Chapter being picked up. Actually, interestingly enough, sold his refillable potion in order to get a Lost Chapter with 3 dank seals in the back pocket, which eradicates the reason for having 3 dank seals, really, because you don't get the extra regen that actually stacks on the item. But I guess you do get a few of those base stacks. And as we talk about, it is a pretty value for money item.
What an exciting top lane situation that we have. We have the Ninja Tabias and the Bramble Vest completed now for Khan, so the trading up there is going to be all but non-existent for the most part.
Well, Faker actually going to choose to go aggressive here as Clid moves on in there, but I believe the mid lane matchup not quite working out in favor of Showmaker, meaning that Canyon fighting with the jungler was probably the wrong choice. Very
Not too
strange
much.
turn of events, really.
Yeah, not too much the action. You can just see up here, Khan, he's able to really fight back right now against, oh, missed right there. Very uncharacteristic, and so Flame ends up getting the better end of that trade as Clid.
It's so weird watching DAMWON playing around a boring top lane. Normally Noguri, he's always there to protect us from a boring top lane matchup. But Flame comes in, shows us that The Urgot is back, even if you're watching DAMWON Gaming. And Khan, he tried to one-up him by picking the Scion. Oh, man.
Tried to go for a red steal here as Canyon was about level 8.5 almost, and Click just leveled up, but very close proximity to the Golem camp, so.
Yeah, and Vision completely available here from SKT. Sorry, from DAMWON Gaming. So Flame understanding that probably needs to play a little bit more carefully, and he's going to choose that as his opportunity to go back to base. Can't quite afford the Black Cleaver just yet, but finishes off Merc Treads and grabs himself a Phage. So he's going to be fine. Moves back towards top side, wants to continue having an advantage. If we're having a look at turret plates, one of them has gone down in the mid lane already. Showmaker doing a good job here against Faker, but range versus melee is probably going to do that as he can more safely farm underneath that turret. I believe one may have fallen on the bottom side as well in favor of SKT. There's a pesky little Kaiser icon. Needs to move out of the way before we can get that confirmation. Nope, not actually going down just yet. So a bit of damage goes onto the turret, but not actually taken as Canyon farming very quickly. And Nuclear, I love this, goes for the Infinity Edge instead of the Blade of the Ruin King. I mean, the one-item spike still feels great, and you get towards your first evolution way quicker.
Speaking about getting to things, we're going to be getting to likely a fight here in about 2 minutes, as there's no real reason for either of these team compositions to try to make an engage happen until that Infernal Drake comes up. We've had an extremely long laning phase. This is something I've talked about a lot in LCK, to be honest, where laning phases tend to last extremely long in this region, sometimes even upwards of 18, 19 minutes. And it doesn't look like that's going to be changing in this game. And when you're
Who does that actually
with
suit,
4 tanks, well, it's really, like I said, I think that it's very difficult for SKT's team composition to handle Ross in the later stages. If Teddy goes down in one fight, it's all over.
Yeah, well, Canyon, gonna try and run through some walls, but train's already left the station. That's that feel when you miss the train.
Have you ever missed a train?
Lots.
Really?
Loads of trains. Yeah, I miss trains all the time.
You mean like a regular train or like a key train? You ever taken a train to a different city or?
Oh, no. So I haven't missed one of those before.
Okay.
I haven't missed one of those. Like the ones that you have to book where it's like, you know, the train to Busan or something like that.
Yep.
Although that's a train that I'd probably be pretty happy to miss based on what happened in that movie. Keen to not be aboard that one.
I never saw it. Yeah, what is it about?
It's about a train and zombies.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it good?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of the more famous Korean movies as far as making it out to the West, I would say, with my limited knowledge. I actually watched another Korean movie last night, actually. It's called The Drug King. It's on Netflix at the moment. It's really good. True story about one of the biggest drug kingpins in Korea.
Really?
The guy earned $7 million in the late 1900s. In like 1980s. $7 million in 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, just insane stuff. It was not a great ending for him. However, that is an impressive amount of money. Infernal Drake has been started up here. It was Canyon that started it. SKT, they sussed it out. They got rid of him. And that's why we were talking about Korean movies and not talking about the game.
This has turned into a generic ratings against Gen G.
Oh god, fiasco.
With the way that the early game has transpired.
Yesterday, I mean, Roach being in the mid lane made for some real exciting stuff. So I think you're completely wrong as Faker. Thinking about the flash. Not gonna do it.
Infernal Drake is still alive.
16 minutes into the game, we do still have Rift Herald available for 3/4 of its duration on Declid. Hasn't been thrown down just yet, and because it's 16 minutes, it's probably not the time to do it. Is Teleport going to be used? It's Teddy, just making his way back down. I got excited there for a second, but Khan can come in. His ultimate just comes back off cooldown. We're looking for a 50-50 as Showmaker doesn't take the claw, and immediately SKT turn. They grab themselves the first blood. It's onto Teddy and the Dragon. Phoebe on death is going to go completely wide, and Marta is tanking up all the damage, even able to go over and help take down the kill onto the Tom Kench. And SKT, they come out of the gate, nothing had happened, and it all happens there in the Dragon Pit.
That was like being in one of those gladiator movies and the cage just comes up and the lion jumps out, and SK Telecom, they jump to a massive advantage here now in game number 3. First turret. Last time it tricked us, though. Because they were both trying to get the first turret?
Well, we were very close to... So the answering turret came in within 30 seconds, right? Which is why the game looked so close, guys.
Right.
You know, that's what happened. And now, where's the turret going down for DAMWON Gaming? Where is it?
Not
I
even
can't
here.
see it. I can't see it.
Yeah. SK Telecom's already won.
Yep, here we go. That's how it works.
Right here,
but this is also just a landslide of a team fight.
Canyon, it seemed like it was going to be really fortunate as the Dragon had reset, but he went way too far up, and he got locked completely down by SK Telecom. I don't even think he got any Kane passives. Mata, being forced to flash the wall there, found himself an oversized catfish. But
look at Koben's face. This guy's real happy. At this point, Zephyr's like, oh, finally, my draft paying off. I didn't pick Silas. Oh, we're doing better. That's what his mind says. Of course, his face says nothing. Unreadable is Zephyr there. But SKT, a fantastic fight to basically begin this game. Honestly, it feels like the game starts at around this 18.5-minute mark because it had been a gentleman's agreement to just farm things out. Teddy, picking up the first blood, goes back, buys himself a luxury QSS. As Marta's hit by a claw, but that's just going to push him towards the river and nothing really going to happen.
We're seeing the thing again, Atlas. I want you to point it out. Look at the items.
Oh, here we go. Faker's copying Showmaker. It must be contagious because Showmaker hasn't even done it. I would have expected Ludens into the Oblivion Orb and Sork Boots on whatever champion he's playing, but instead he goes as far away from that as possible into this very standard Lissandra build.
Yeah, well, the one thing I would say, though, is I suppose Morello can help against Ross.
Hey, and
Slutting
Lissandra.
Down, yeah, and Lissandra. If she ends up ulting herself.
If he doesn't use his Grey Health. I know it's not really relevant, but in theory, it's healing.
So I suppose it's not the end of the world to have that Oblivion Orb, just... I'm wondering how he's going to transition to Galio.
Oh, he's in trouble. This is going to take a while. Remember, the shield isn't exactly the greatest as he flashes to get himself out of the way. Remember, the ult, it's ticking down. He's trying to get the work done, but the big boy into the belly. It is going to be traded, though, as SKT grab the outer turret on the bottom side of the map.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Every time an Urgot eats a Scion, it reminds me of like a Majin Buu eating someone. Or no, not Majin Buu, Cell eating someone.
Yeah. I think he's going to third Cell after that one, though, 'cause that's a real big boy. As Beryl tries to flash, but he's not getting far. Faker with the Winds of War does a lot of damage, actually. As Mata, can he tank it? Not going to happen as Showmaker picks up the kill in the end with the Frozen Thrall. Faker actually tanks up one of those as well, but SKT still continuing here as Canyon. He's moving through the wall, wants to get the Humble Trespass in as the Rast form has been picked up like we've been talking about for so long. Remember, it's been changed, man. He just gets stacks just everywhere.
Yeah, and he has the Rast. He whiffed right there on the knockup onto SK Telecom. That definitely could have been a different story. Nonetheless, meanwhile, up in top lane, DWG Gaming, Flame manages to pick up the top tier 1 turret. And interestingly enough, when you have this scaling combo, I'll talk about that in a second, is taking a quick replay. This is one of the easiest ganks you could ever have take place. Ends up missing the slow, doesn't really matter. Khan tries to flash away, but ends up proving to be futile as Cell tells him to get inside.
Yep, he's absorbed his abilities now. Flame is even more of a tank player.
And then bottom right here, they do a nice engage there onto Beryl. He ends up using the stopwatch with Mata.
And think about everything that's on cooldown right now. You know, it's like the ultimate from Mata, that's used to try and get away, but it's honestly not enough. As the last Q, I believe, from Showmaker was the one that did it, as Clid looking to try and get himself well and truly in amongst it, but what can Kane do? He can get out. He can get out pretty fast.
Top tier 1, actually. SK Telecom are going to pick it up, and one of the things I was going to say is when you have multiple tanks on a team composition, oftentimes tier 1 turrets can prove to be very difficult to secure later in the game, as none of your tanks
Beryl's dead.
Okay, well, yeah.
See you, man.
This is always a really sad. I'm going to need a moment.
Yeah. Thomas. Poor Thomas.
Looking like a beached whale right there.
Bum, 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 bum,
Disgusting
bum,
getting caught out.
Okay, well, Canyon lying in wait, but he's lying in wait for probably not the right thing here. It's a big knock up onto Faker, but Winds of War is going to be traded back, and Khan owns this bottom side red jungle. Might just get themselves in and take down this other Ocean Drake as SKT, wanting to cycle as many as they can. Oh, Clid, I mean, Blast Cone not even good enough. The Arctic
Not
assaulting Sejuani with Kevin. Canyon wants to go, steals the Ocean Drain. What a sick move. Not going to happen, and the ultimate not going to clip him there either. Is Canyon, sorry, gets himself out of the way. And let's have a look at this pick-off yet again. I don't know why we're seeing it again. It was really depressing.
I don't know what he's...
Walkabout.
Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
See your death.
Moment of silence for Tahm Kench. Because he's not the Coin Emperor, Tahm Kench.
Yeah, that's the problem, obviously.
Because if it was a smart Tahm Kench, he'd probably have a lot of coins. Because he would make bank. That's what's going on here.
I got a reference that's like pretty deep in reference to that. Have you played Diablo 3 before? There's a vault level with this, like, it's lots and lots of money, and that's exactly what that Tahm Kench skin looks like. Is we've got a team fight further on the top side of the map, and it's going to be Showmaker just completely obliterated. Without any further thought, another slowdown comes through onto Beryl. Permafrost as well slows him down, and the train not going to be able to land, but the Decimating Smash certainly will, and Teddy finishes that one off. And it's just DWG Gaming with a bit of a brain fade, not quite staying together on the same page, and Beryl once again falling down. Take Galio, take Alistair. What does he have after that? Seems like Tahm Kench not one of those options here for this man.
This is really a surprising game overall, and now Mata saying, hey,
delivery. It's a big knock-up as well as Clit gets himself over the wall. Canyon takes a while to die as the Umbral Trespass does come in. It actually cancels out the hero's entrance as he's buying so much time to try and stop this one. Clit, Arctic Assaults gets back in. They turn themselves back onto this Baron as Clit flashes and steals the Baron! Canyon unnecessary as the kills now starting to rain forward. DWG Gaming are even able to steal away the piggy as Showmaker gets himself back in, gets a brilliant flash forward at DWG. It looked like a brain fade, but maybe it was the genius tier move. And Flame, welcome back to the LCK, my friend.
That's the really sad part. Where you what is it? It's I forgot what movie it is, but Flame nonetheless as a hero. Let's take another quick look at this one more time. This is how it all starts off. Showmaker biting off a little bit more than he can chew.
And he doesn't use the ultimate because he can't. He's just perma-CC'd. That white CC bar was up the entire time.
And then Beryl ends up making himself a quick donation. Train doesn't quite hit, but it doesn't really matter. And then SK Telecom, they go for this Baron play, but then for some reason, Clit goes over the wall as well, even though Mata probably could handle it, or you could have just sent Faker over to taunt and then knock him up with the Justice Punch. And in doing so, it gave Flame the time to come in here, and let it be known that is a 3-level different smite, for those that might be wondering. And then Rost in the backline, Mata can't bring him down. I think SK Telecom might have just lost the game off of this, as weird as that sounds.
Showmaker just got 1,000 gold from killing Teddy. As far as turnarounds are concerned, this is about the biggest you can get. Was Khan able to take down the Kaiser in the end? And so that was an extra 500 gold going over to him. That's a big bounty to come through, but my God, this feels like DWG have just awoken on this map, because before, SKT was dictating everything to them.
I just remembered the movie. It's like with the little kid and the giant, the metal giant, the robotic giant.
The Iron Giant?
Doesn't he pass away at the end?
Dude, don't spoil that. It's one of the saddest moments in movie history.
I think that's what the Urgot just was.
Oh, I guess it is a heartwarming moment, though. You're right. Oh, God, I love that movie.
Zoomed in on him. That's all I could think of. I just couldn't remember.
Oh, man.
I remember watching that in movie theaters with my grandmother.
I watched it with my cousins, and they all made fun of me for being so sad. Well, on the hunt has been popped here. It's a good ultimate this time from Clit, but into the belly of the Tahm Kench goes as Flame just gets delivered to the middle of the team. Can he actually find the Fear Beyond Death, as it is going to go wide, but doesn't matter. Still able to take down the kill on Mata, and now Faker in amongst the team is delivered another kill over to the Urgot. I don't know where this Flame came from, but it feels like he's teleported from back in time, back into the LCK.
We're gonna get some men in black suits in here after this game. They're gonna ask him where the time machine is.
Yeah, exactly right. And then they're gonna show us that weird stick thing that's gonna lose our memory. So try and hold on to this one in your minds, everyone. because Flames come back and he's looking to save DAMWON versus SKT.
Baron only 15 seconds remaining, but it did the damage that it needed to do. We'll take another quick look at the fight. Flame gets hit. Doesn't really matter all that much as Barrel.
And he's like, I'm ready to go back in.
And then we're just going to take a quick look at his field goal here.
That was Flash. Okay. still good play. It's a bit of a wind-up on the Fear Beyond Death, guys. Remember that.
It is true. We thought Showmaker was the
enemy.
enemy.
That's not old man mechanics. We've got Joker for that. We can see those.
And, well, talk about old man mechanics.
Yeah.
Missed the Scuttle Crab really quick.
Canyon's a young man. He's got no excuse. No excuse at all.
So now, in this game, SK Telecom, they are down about 5,000 gold here. They're not out of the game entirely. They do have the ability.
And they've got a beautiful front-to-back comp,
yes.
right? They can play behind Sejuani and Sion. You know exactly how that's going to work, and then Teddy can hit whatever's in front of him. Easy peasy, boys. No worries there at all. However, DAMWON, they can play out, if they can play out their team comp in the way that we know the Urgot Lissandra works, I don't even know whether front-to-back is going to work, because Khan, if he tries to play frontline and they just eat through his health bar, which Nuclear can do on this Kai'Sa with the amount of damage that she does, not to mention Rast form cutting through your health so easily and Flame being able to put him in the grinder, it's a scary proposition here for SKT as they move further forward into this game, because we talk about Sivir win conditions, Kai'Sa win conditions exist as well.
And I was saying in Champ Select that DAMWON, it's so much easier for them as well to pilot their team composition with the Rost and the Lissandra. I mean, they will deal a lot of damage and provide free reign for the Kai'Sa. And the other thing is that the Rost is so difficult to deal with. If Galio doesn't clip him with the Morellonomicon passive, he just basically goes back to full health almost infinitely.
Yeah, and not to mention, he gets to Umbral Trespass for so long, and think about how much untargetability is on this squad. You can even include the Supercharger's invisibility from Nuclear in that equation as well. Flame can go into his Gargoyle Stoneplate form and basically take no damage. Showmaker has his ultimate, has a Zhonya's Hourglass, and has a stopwatch. And Beryl can devour any one of these players that gets anywhere near close to dying. It's hard to play front to back against this squad. Nuclear taking a lot of damage there to start off with, though, as Teddy has the On the Hunt popped, but Mata, he could be a target here. Thrown into the belly, perhaps, as Flame wants to find the Fear Beyond Death. Can he shoot it? Through Clid. Clid's body blocking for him as Khan finds his way towards the front line. That hero's entrance is really nice. This might be the team fight for SKT as Faker goes into his own Zhonya's, has to flash to get his way out as Canyon with the GA. Holds on to it, but not his health bar.
That was a really close encounter just now. It looks like Mata for sure was going to go down at the very beginning of this.
Yeah, it felt like, you know, that was the team fight that SKT really needed to try and win, but instead it was a bit more of a stalemate for both sides. Felt like if it was going to go well for SKT, it was going to go well right there.
A little bit of a reset time granted for both parties right now. DAMWON, look at their team composition. Everyone has all their summoner spells, whereas the same is not able to be said on SKT's team side. And the summoners for SK Telecom are a lot more important due to how integral it is that Sivir be protected at all costs inside of the team comp.
Yeah, you look at Faker, you look at Mata. That's exactly the summoners that you want. As far as Flash is concerned, pole Flash headbutt, you know, these sort of things coming out from the Alistar is important, but the taunt Flash is so crucial for this Galio to really make plays. And we've still got quite a few minutes before that one comes in, as On the Hunt has been popped. Flame might get caught out, but there's no CC to offer here. Not just yet. And DAMWON happy just to tank the Baron for a few moments and test the waters.
Right now, Showmaker clearing out the control ward inside of the Baron pit. DAMWON, they do have one Mountain Drake, but they might be waiting to posture for two. Teleport coming in from Teddy.
He makes his way back forward as he wants to stand behind Khan. He's clearing minions in the mid lane. But DAMWON, you can see how much control they have. It's them dictating the pace. In game number 1, that was a problem, but they shored it up in game number 2. What will we get here in the deciding game 3? SKT, a lot of pressure on them. This is a Galio comp, and I don't know how many of them have actually lost for SKT as the train comes out. Another big cooldown expended from SKT in trade for a righteous glory from Flame.
Mountain coming up now in 25 seconds. Kane, or Rost, and Kaisa are both able to solo that dragon. So if they can keep SK Telecom, which is a very immobile team composition, inside of their own red side jungle, they can definitely try to just go solo it. Instead, doesn't look like that's on their mind as Lissandra pushing in top. Not the biggest threat inside of the split push.
Big knock up there from Canyon as our Flame gets himself into position in the front line. Decimating Smash, not going to be there. As Canyon just slashes his way out of it. No worries, Faker, he's going to move up top side, and now it's DAMWON Gaming with the man advantage around the mid.
Here's
and
the
Nuclear
solo.
is able just to come over and steal away the Mountain Drake without taking any damage.
And now, DAMWON with double Mountain Drake are able to just actually start the Baron with the Tahm Kench taking it and Thick Skin and say, hey, you have to come into us. And if they do, Kane, everyone's going to be clumped up for Rost.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to get several knockups, Umbral Trespass, and threaten Petty in the backline, and it's so scary.
And during the duration of Umbral Trespass, Nuclear will be able to get so much damage done. He's got IE double Zeal item. It's a huge deal here as Clid flashing towards the pit, but now needs to be able to Arctic Assault his way forward. Nuclear is the one that secures the Baron, as now SKT trying to start off this team by Flame. The only one knocked up, but the Gargoyle Stoneplate is buying so much time. And now Canyon diving in the backline. He wants to get on top of Teddy, but they've expended all of Flame's health bar, and they can't do anything more. Oh, the Purge comes just back off cooldown, and now Showmaker darting into the backline. The Kaiser there as well, and he's free hitting Nuclear. Can he do it? Goes into the stopwatch, the stasis, and Showmaker in the backline. The Circle of Frost and the ace for DAMWON.
And that was the biggest turnaround. It looked like SK Telecom certainly had that fight won, but then Nuclear just, he went completely hero mode. I don't know, I don't know what to call that ultimate right into the back of SK Telecom with Ross to accompany on the right-hand side, and that's going to be all she wrote here for game number 3.
That's going to be it. DAMWON have answered back, and now it's 3-3 for SKT DAMWON if you're looking at the LCK, but tack on a couple more wins for DAMWON as they were able to take them down in the Kesper Cup. At the beginning of 2019, Marta is going to respawn, but I'm sorry, buddy, that Nexus is not long for the world, and DAMWON Gaming do what looked very, very difficult after game number 1. They turn around a difficult game 2.